In the early hours of August 3rd, 2032, an elite Russian assault team quietly slipped through a forest. In the early hours of August 3rd, 2032, an elite Russian assault team quietly slipped through a forest deep inside the NATO-allied country of Estonia. Their target, the Amari-Lenubas Air Force Base, located approximately 35 kilometers southwest of the Estonian capital of Tallinn. The lightly defended airbase proved no match for the surprise Russian attack. Within moments, the defenders of the airbase were overrun, outside communications were cut, and the control towers seized. Minutes later, 4 civilian passenger jets off the Baltic coast suddenly broke contact with their controllers, descended and landed at the airbase. Russian forces quickly disembarked, paving the way for the tens of thousands of forces soon to follow from air, sea, and land. The invasion of the Baltics had begun, and with it, World War III. Much like Germany's downfall after World War I, Russia found itself politically, economically, and militarily devastated following its failed attempt to seize Ukraine in 2022. Following years of staggering military losses, the Russian public ached for new leadership and a return to the glory days back when the Soviet Union was a superpower feared by countries across the globe. They would receive that leadership through a charismatic new firebrand Russian president, the former First Deputy Director of the Federal Security Service, or FSB, Dmitry Kozak, who took power after a swift and bloody coup in late 2026. In 6 short years, Kozak overhauled and restructured the military, investing billions into smaller, more agile and highly trained conventional forces, while procuring large numbers of Chinese exported armor, air defense systems, drones, and naval warships. A stopgap solution while Russia rebuilt its domestically produced military inventory. But time was not on Kozak's side. With an unsustainable military budget built on an anemic, isolated economy and a fickle, anxious populace, Kozak knew that his vision of a new empire must be implemented soon. His solution came from the East. Seeking his own legacy and believing that time and circumstances were both right and fleeting, Premier Liu Hao of China formed an alliance with Russian President Kozak. Together, they would devise a secret, coordinated military plan designed to dominate Europe, Asia, and the shipping lanes critical to global trade. It was called Operation Resurgence. It was to begin in Europe with a lightning Russian invasion of the Baltic countries of Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, reclaiming those countries lost to Russia following the fall of the Soviet Union. Seizing them would provide a critical land bridge from Russia to Kaliningrad, granting Russia's navy greater influence over the Baltic Sea and the Russian army, a direct doorway into Western Europe. Kozak and Hao were fully aware that the invasion would trigger a massive NATO military response. In fact, they counted on it, as once NATO became firmly mobilized, focused, and committed to a war against Russia in Europe, China would then initiate the second phase of Operation Resurgence, the invasion of Taiwan. Both Kozak and Hao were firm in their belief that the United States, a country politically fractured and distracted from within, would not have the will to mobilize, the unity to weather the economic blow, or the stomach to incur enormous losses for places few in the US knew of or cared about. For the United States and its allies, like they had nearly a century before during World War II, together, could they once again rally, battle and win a two-front war a half a world apart? Or through failure, miscalculation or insanity, would it all come to an end in the blinding flash of nuclear annihilation? The world was about to find out.
Dit simpele PDF-bestand wat ik in 2 dagen tijd maakte, heeft me in 1 jaar tijd ruim €45.000 opgeleverd. Oké, en